Word of faith prosperity preachers have this ridiculous notion that our prosperity is promised in the atonement of Christ. In this playlist, we have not only shown that that isn't biblical, it isn't evidential, but there is also a saying that is sometimes said from a non-biblical stance that is fairly hurtful. What good is it if a Christian is poor or sick all the time? How does that glorify God? But yet, we've seen that the disciples were poor and funded by their own sacrifice, tent making, or the generosity to the poor saints from places like Macedonia. We've seen that the abundant life from John chapter 10 is about salvation, and followers of Christ were sick like Paul, Trophimus, or Timothy, or further on, they were killed by being pulled through the streets with a rope around their neck, or stoned to death. You know, it's actually really easy to follow something when it's rewarding you, but it's far more convicting, far more convincing when someone sticks to their guns despite adversity. It's a far greater testimony when someone sticks to their convictions when a marriage is going through hell. It's a far greater testimony when someone wants to give up so badly, but they stick to their weight loss goals or fitness goals. It's a far greater testimony when an athlete who battles nerve pain and torment because they maybe lost their legs, but they stick to their convictions and compete in the Paralympics. It's a far greater testimony when a former Muslim converts to Christianity and at a young age contracts stomach cancer, and with massive hair loss and weakness, he still preaches the gospel. God is not glorified by our prosperous riches being displayed. God is glorified far more in the absence of such. That is why Job is so important. That is why Nabil Qureshi is so important. That is why Joni Eareckson Tada is so important. That when our families are killed, that when our bodies are broken and ripped apart, that when disease steals your last breath, that your testimony screams that despite maybe missing limbs, that despite death kidnapping your family, that despite poverty ravaging your needs, or despite vomiting from chemotherapy, Christ is still good and Christ is still glorified. Christ Himself is our prosperity. Christ is the prize. God bless and mad love.